Hello folks, and welcome to Sketchbook Session, I think, number 12. Who even knows at this point? I haven't done one of these in a while, but I've been getting a couple of comments from people saying, hey, do another one because we missed your sketchbook content, so here it is. I hope you enjoy this nutritious meal. So I've talked about it a little bit on the channel, but I've been super art blocked lately, but I've been drawing a little bit in my sketchbook. That's been helping me to get out of it, and I have been drawing specifically just lots of pretty girls, kind of like cottagecore, princess core stuff. So we're just going to be doing more of that today. This is going to be a very indulgent sketchbook session where I just enjoy myself and you listen to me ramble about really who knows what. So let's dive into it, shall we? Okay, first up, I don't know if I'm going to mess this up. Forgive me. I said before I'm not great at drawing on camera and talking at the same time, but I think this pose is super cool, so I'm going to start out by trying this one, but with my character Rose. If I can get my pen to work, hold on. There we go. Let's see if I can actually block this out and talk at the same time. But yeah, I've just been like kind of art blocked lately and kind of just trying to find my footing again with the kind of stuff that I've been drawing and the kind of stuff that I've enjoyed drawing. And I don't know, it's been kind of slow going. Like I mentioned it some in the video I did a couple of weeks ago where I was like designing some fairies and stuff, and it just seemed like nothing I did in that video really stuck. Like I just wasn't a big fan of it. And since then things have gotten a little bit better, but I think the biggest reason why I've been art blocked is just like, well, first of all, burnout, but second of all, just not having a lot of opportunity to just sit down and focus on learning and continuing to like grow my artistic skills. I promise you this is not a Skillshare ad right now. That's just true. Like I haven't had a lot of time to do that lately. Now that I've sort of gotten a couple of days to sit down and just focus on sketching a little bit, it's started to get a little bit better. It's just, I think, been a little bit more difficult lately because I've been focusing a lot on different skills. Like I've been doing a lot of design work, which isn't always the most like drawing intensive, and then I've also been just doing a lot of like sewing and cosplay stuff. And I've also just been trying to take some time where I'm not just like creative 24/7. So you know, I haven't had as much time to focus on the art skills lately, so I'm trying to get back into that, and it's definitely been helping. And also drawing things that are indulgent, like this, have been helping. Already I'm like, I don't know what this pose is. It looks a lot better in my reference photo, and now I'm drawing it, and I'm like, what is going on here? I should have gone with something safer, probably, as the first thing. Oops. It's fine, probably. I guess that is to say, if I have advice for those of you who find yourself in a similar position today where you're just art blocked and you're like, wow, I'm really struggling to get out of this, just like rest. Honestly, that's my best advice. That's probably the thing that's helped me the most. Besides like getting back to just doing some studies and fundamentals and stuff, and doing things that are indulgent. Both of those are very helpful. But like, just resting, I feel like our society undervalues rest as a concept. And holy crap, whenever I was kind of doing like a lot of videos for a while there, I was getting like so burned out just because it's very labor intensive. And those of you who know me and know my work probably also know I am not the most efficient person in the world. It's kind of hard to be whenever you're like trying to make a good thing and make it really quickly. I don't know. The time management of the YouTube sphere is just absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't work. I don't know like how some people manage this. I assume that a lot of people maybe have more of a team, or you know what, probably a lot of people are just better at time management than I am. But you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's okay to rest sometimes. And it's a lesson that I've been trying to learn myself so that I don't go absolutely insane, because there's been a bit of a possibility of that here lately. So that's sort of what is new with me. I guess like trying to get over art block, and trying to get some better work-life balance, because, you know, what I have been doing isn't necessarily the most sustainable thing ever, and I just need to get better at like budgeting my time and giving myself actual time and opportunity to rest. So some of you might notice I took like a couple of weeks off there, and it was very refreshing, and I haven't been able to talk about some of the stuff that's happened the last couple of weeks just because it's not normal video content really, but my friend and I went to North Carolina on vacation. We went to the mountains and we stayed in like a really nice little like a mountain chalet is what they called it on Airbnb. It was like modeled after a Swiss chalet. It was really cute, but also kind of like amusing because it was just like Swiss things and skiing everywhere. Like the whole thing was modeled very much Swiss cross-country skiing core. It was like, I don't know, it was a little bit cheesy, but in a really cute way. Like they literally had like stuffed animal wolves lying around, and then like freaking they had like skis on the wall, and then they also had like pillows with the flag of Switzerland on them. It was a lot, but it was really cool. It was really nice. I can even like add some photos in here that have like the view. The view was amazing, and we just like spent a couple of days up there wandering around and doing some hiking. We went to Mount Mitchell. We went into Asheville and went to the Asheville Museum of Art, so that was cool. I had fun fact. Some like random people came up to me in Asheville and they handed me a crown, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to be part of our pretty princess cult?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I do." So they gave me the crown, and then they just like ran away. And I have no idea what that was a part of. I don't know what I've been, you know, I don't know what I've gotten myself into, guys, I'll be honest. But here's a picture of the crown, and apparently I'm part of a pretty princess cult now, so that's really fun for me. I love that for me, and that will live on in my heart forever. And if anyone who invited me into their pretty princess cult is currently watching the video, it meant a lot, and thank you. And please let me know when our first meeting is, because I would love to attend. But that was really fun. Otherwise, I kind of just like, while on vacation, hung out, drank a lot of cheap wine because I left my ID at home because my assistant, aka my mom, needed it for tax purposes, and I forgot to get it back from her. So that was cool. But the in-room wine was very good, even though it was like $3 Walmart wine. Basically, I just did that and watched a lot of The Great, which is a really good show, and I would recommend it to those of you who are, you know, over the age of 18, because it is also like incredibly raunchy and like so dirty. You know what? Let's talk about TV shows a little bit, because I have a lot to say. First of all, let's talk about The Great. If you're not here for historical dramas, I'm sorry, because I am, and that's probably mostly what I'm going to be talking about in this sketchbook session. So The Great is a cute little Hulu show, and by cute I mean it's disgusting in the best possible way. It's about Catherine the Great and her overthrowing of her husband Peter, which I don't know how historically accurate a lot of that is. I know that Catherine the Great was a thing, but I haven't had time to look into like a ton of the things in terms of historical accuracy. But the show is really, really amusing. It's just like political intrigue, but funny. Like, it's one of the funniest shows that I've seen in a while, just because it's really ridiculous. And they don't take anything too seriously. I think the funniest part of it is like, you know, this is maybe getting a little bit away from family friendly, but their depictions of sex are like hilarious because they never take anything too seriously. I just find myself laughing at that show a lot, which is nice because a lot of historical dramas tend to be like, you know, it's in the name. They're very dramatic, and sometimes that's not always the vibe. So it's nice to have something that's a little bit refreshing. It kind of gives me like Bridgerton vibes with how seriously they take things. Like, Bridgerton is obviously not as funny and a lot more serious at times, but I don't know, it gives me those feels because oh gosh, here, like, don't even get me started. The cinematography and the color palette of the show is like probably my favorite part of it. It's just nice to look at, and it's very like ornate in its costuming and the set locations and everything. Like, there's a little bit of questionable use of green screen here and there, which I unfortunately can tell that they are using green screen sometimes, but otherwise the show has like a really nice production value, and the characters are actually like really good. Like, I don't know how many of you who have seen it, and this might be kind of spoilers, but like, dang it, they kind of made me like Peter, and I didn't want to like Peter because he's like an atrocious bag of filth. And yet I'm like, dang it, I'm kind of rooting for Peter now. Like, I really like Catherine. She was initially my favorite character just because, like, she kind of just gets in there and starts girl bossing it up, even though she's kind of ruining everything. But we love that. We love ambition. But I don't know. Peter's just kind of great, even though he's also really, really terrible. Like, don't take your lessons on morals from Peter because he's awful. But he's, like, probably fun to, like, hang out with, I would think. I don't know, he seems to know how to have a good time. But yeah, good show. I watched that a lot on vacation. It was really nice. And the other thing that I've been watching lately, I've talked a little bit in the past, I think on Sketchbook Sessions, that I've been into, like, I think they're either Stars or Showtime originals, but The White Queen and The White Princess, and then also The Spanish Princess. Haven't seen that one yet. I've heard that it's decent, but I watched them with my brother, and he kind of watched ahead, and he recommended that we just, after watching The White Princess, go into The Tudors instead, just because it kind of follows roughly the same timeline, just a little bit accelerated, because the Spanish Princess, I guess he just didn't find that plot as interesting for whatever reason. I don't know. I like Catherine of Aragon. She seems like a very interesting historical figure, but anyways, getting off topic. But we started watching The Tudors, which I know is like a divisive show just because it's very historically inaccurate a lot of times. But my goodness, is it entertaining. Oh my gosh, Jonathan Myers in that show makes me laugh so hard, and then also makes me afraid for my life. Like, serial killer vibes, oh my gosh. And he actually kind of is a serial killer, not gonna lie. Like, Henry VIII, kind of a serial killer, you know? Anyways, it's just really well acted though, honestly. And then I think her name is Natalie Dormer. She was in Game of Thrones. She plays Anne Boleyn. Her performance is also incredible. Like, it's serving drama, it's serving intrigue. It's like, it reminds me of a telenovela, but like period and having to do with the Tudors. And I don't know, it's just, I eat it up. I eat it up so much. But I love that. I've also been watching that, having a great time with it. I think we're on season 3 now, I believe, but there's so much more on my list. I've also been watching The Nevers here and there, which is like historical drama, but it's like historically inspired. It's actually like pretty sci-fi, but that's like an HBO show. That one, pretty good, but not necessarily accurate, right? Because, you know, there's aliens and superpowers and, you know. I also watched The Gilded Age, which was pretty good, but, you know, I kind of binged through it sort of quickly. So I'm not sure. Okay, we were zooming, dude, and then my card got full because I was using the same one. But yeah, I think I was talking about The Gilded Age. Anyways, opinions. I think it's a cool, good show. It's more of like a slice of life. Like, of course, the plot is dealing with like old money versus the nouveau riche and like, you know, new America and everything, which is definitely interesting to watch because you have these like class struggles, a lot of like classism plots going on lately in media. I wonder why. Anyways, it's nice. Like, there's commentary and it's an interesting show. I just think some of the overarching plots are also like a little bit, oh, we've seen this before. There's like a really boring, not even romance, because the guy kind of turns out to be terrible. And then, I can't remember her name, but I think the most interesting subplot so far, I like the character who is a writer a lot for the newspaper. She's very interesting. And then, honestly, I like the main nouveau riche family, and like specifically the mom, because she's kind of like cutthroat with how she's doing things. She's like really selfish and abrasive, but I don't know, I just kind of like her. She's cool too. Otherwise, I can't really remember many of the characters. I think I also like the girl whose like dad died. She's kind of cool, I guess, just because she's kind of like that stereotypically like, this is who you're supposed to relate to. She's the plucky, she's not like other girls, right? She's also fine, you know? But other than that, I don't know. The characters are not super memorable, but there's only one season out, so I'm gonna give it more of a chance. It's a good show. It's fine. Again, I did watch it like in passing whenever I was working on my Pinafores video, so I should probably go back and like watch it in full. But I would say the biggest draw of the show is definitely costuming, and then like the set design and the architecture, both really cool, really nice to look at, because it's called the Gilded Age, right? So everything is like just being built up, so it's got a pretty nice set design. Obviously not as involved as some shows, like it's not as spectacular as say Bridgerton or something like that, but it has clearly a smaller budget. But as a fan of like that 19th century, not 19th century, is it? Yeah, 19th century, I was right. My gosh, that gets so confusing sometimes, I swear. Yeah, as a fan of like specifically late 19th century and early 20th century fashion, I definitely really like it. Like the Victorian era clothing is beautiful, even though it's not Victorian era. It's Gilded Age because it's America. But anyways, yes, good show. I enjoyed it, but yeah, I watch a lot of these shows just for the clothing and set design, and yeah, that's probably one of them that I watch. The Nevers is also a little bit like that. Like I'm having a difficult time getting into the plot, but I keep going back to it because I like the clothing, and they also fight a lot, and my dumb magpie brain says, ooh yes, I want to see girls doing hand-to-hand combat. We love that. So that's one of the reasons why I've been going back to that. Obviously, those of you who saw my most recent video know I've also been very much into Our Flag Means Death, another really good, like, kind of period show, but it's a comedy. Taika Waititi, wow. Taika Waititi, I'm having a collapse. Oh my gosh. Taika Waititi style. Holy crap, it took me too long to say his name properly. But yeah, that's been another like really fun period show that I've been getting a lot of inspiration for like clothing and also like character design. I've talked about this a little bit in past sessions, but I think getting into like historical like clothing and costuming and stuff like that has really like helped expand my design sensibilities a little bit, because I'm focusing a little bit more on construction and I'm more open-minded about the kind of silhouettes that I like. So that's been really cool to like see, especially in like all these shows from different eras, because I feel like none of the shows that I watch are really focused on even one century. It kind of skips from like 18th, 19th, 20th centuries, and then also like what, 15th century, or no, 16th century with like the Tudors and the War of the Roses stuff. I don't know, it's all over the place, but it's really cool. Would be nice to see more historically accurate costume design in some of the shows, just because it's like I see something and I'm like, dang it, that looks really cool, but I don't know if that's historically accurate, which it doesn't always matter because you're doing costume design. It's a storytelling thing, and you know, that's what they were going for a lot in the Tudors, because apparently their show's costuming design is sort of a nightmare. Like, it's good design, but it's not historically accurate. Anyways, the thing is, I see it and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. I wonder if that's historically accurate. And then I look it up and it's not, and I just get disappointed because I wish it was in a lot of ways, because again, it looks cool. I mean, some of it looks like trash objectively, but some of it's really nice too. I don't know. Anyways, all that is to say, I bought a long blonde wig this week, and now I want to cosplay as Catherine from The Great. I want to make one of her dresses now, which is just opening a whole new can of worms, because not only am I not a super experienced dressmaker, I am certainly not a period experienced dressmaker. So I blame you for this, Hulu. How many of my dollars will I waste trying to understand how, like, what 18th century dresses are assembled and stuff? Oh boy, I'm gonna be really thrust into it, but I don't know, I think that would be fun to do. And also, just like, I find it hard to be like, oh, I'm gonna make just a random dress that's like from this specific time period, but then if I'm cosplaying a character from a show I like, it just gives me more motivation, you know what I'm saying? This sketch is, it makes me feel a little upset, but it's fine. This arm actually doesn't make me that angry. This arm, on the other hand, makes me just writhe in frustration. I just, no. I know some of you are gonna be like, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. I am gonna worry about it. Have you met me? Well, you haven't, but you should know I'm gonna worry about it. I apologize if I go quiet while I'm trying to draw this face. This is like the make or break moment for like all my illustrations. Please bear with me while I make uncomfortable noises instead of talking about anything of value. Because faces, honestly, just faces this small make me nervous. Because it's like harder to correct if you go and muck it up, you know what I'm saying? Okay, it's okay so far. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. A little side glance. She's nonchalant. If she was walking away from an explosion, she wouldn't look at it. Yeah. I don't know, this face is still weird. I don't know what's going on. My construction lines are like a little bit too visible. So it's making me mildly upset. I'm also misspeaking a lot today. So, wow. Lucky for you guys. Well, I mean, this is what you get whenever I haven't put up a session in a while. Here's the thing. I don't like it, but we're gonna move on, and maybe I'll use my sticky notes at the end. I don't know who noticed it, but I had like a ton of sticky notes sitting on the top of my sketchbook when we started this, and that's because I know myself and I know I'm gonna mess up. It's like that scene in The Matrix where they're like, know thyself. I am prepared for failure. That's how I know myself. The longer I look at it, the more it's making me mildly angry. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just gonna do a sketch that I hope turns out better. Anyways, I started getting into talking about costuming stuff, which is the perfect segue because your girl may or may not have entered into an impulsive costuming project last minute for a Renaissance fair. Wow. Is it a good idea? No, it's not, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So yeah, a couple of my friends and I decided to impulsively go to a Renaissance fair pretty soon in a couple of weeks. I don't know, the days keep changing. The plans have changed like 3 times. So even though things are like somewhat uncertain even, I've elected to ignore that in favor of making an impulsive costume, which literally, I think, what day is it? It's Tuesday. So like, I literally decided to make this costume like 2 days ago or something like that. And it's a good idea. It's definitely a good idea, and it's not impulsive, and it's not a bad idea. It is a good idea. But no, I've honestly already gotten some decent progress on it for how long I've been working on it. Like the first day, okay, somewhat spoilers. It's kind of sort of like a fairy costume, sort of. I don't even know exactly what it's going to be at this point because it's just that impulsive. But So someone in the comments of my most recent video did something which is very dangerous. They told me about a pretty thing that I didn't know existed, and then I decided, uh-oh, I have to make that pretty thing. I have to own one. I need it immediately, right now. And thus, on impulse, I started this project, which it is a corset. I'm not going to tell you guys what kind of corset it is, just because I want it to kind of be a surprise. I don't know how surprised anyone's gonna be, honestly. I mean, it's me. But yeah, I kind of want to like plan it to be sort of a whole thing. Kind of my Libra costume cosplay thing. I had so much fun with that video, even though it quite literally almost nearly killed me. It was just very intense, and I didn't give myself enough time to like work on the project, and then I also didn't give myself enough time to edit it, even though it was like 6 months later or something. I don't know. But I want to do like another big video. I've been, like I said, very much art blocked, very unmotivated, and I'm just over it, dude. I want something to inspire me so that I can create something that I actually like and that looks cute. So even though this is impulsive and maybe slightly, almost definitely unwise, I'm still gonna do it. That's what it's all about, baby. So, does this sketch look like it should have heels? I don't know. We're gonna roll with it. I don't care. Today is me time. It's like that Jenna Marbles thing. She's like, I'm having me time. Get out. That's how I feel right now. Can you feel my chaotic energy? I, in a whirlwind, went downstairs early today because I was like, okay, my camera battery needs to charge. And that is excuse enough for me to drop what I'm supposed to be doing right now, which is like basically recording this sketchbook session. I was like, oh, I can't do that yet because my camera battery isn't charged, even though I have 2 other camera batteries that are charged. They're not my main one. So that's enough excuse for me to go and work on my corset while my main camera battery is charging. And instead of spending half an hour, which I set a timer and I was like, yeah, I'm only spending half an hour on this because that's the amount of time my camera battery is probably going to take to charge. I spent 2 hours on my corset, but I don't care because it's actually turning out pretty good. And like, I think the body of the corset is pretty much done. Like I'm making it out of Warbler. More spoilers. It's not like an actual corset. It's like, it's some fantasy nonsense. Like, what do you expect? It's me. But yeah, so I've got the body of it done, and so next, I think tonight, after I like get off official work and go on my run, I'm going to stay up for a little bit and work on like some of the detailing and the embellishments. Like I get to use foam clay again, which is super fun. I'm super excited for that because we all know I love me some foam clay. You know what I'm saying? It's just, oh, it's so satisfying. It is so, if those of you who are cosplayers out there who like doing the foam smithing stuff, if you've never used foam clay, you are missing out. Go get you some. It's like, it'll solve all your problems. But yeah, I have foam clay, and then I also got some little silicone molds off of Amazon. Again, quite impulsively, just ordered some on Sunday. I was like, yes, it is time to try out the silicone mold thing, even though I'm a little bit doubtful if it's going to work for the intricate silicone molds that I ordered. They're for like cake decorating or something. But I wanted to use these, so I've already tested a few. It's actually coming out pretty good. I think I'm going to be able to make my idea work. But yeah, this week we're having impulsive hours because I was feeling uninspired, and then I just literally, a subscriber was like, hey, what if you made this? And I went, uh-oh. There goes my plans for the next couple of weeks because I'm gonna make it. But I'll have to like, I'll for sure thank the people for the suggestion in the video whenever it comes out, because that one like suggestion comment was literally the crux of this entire idea. But it has grown since then, and it has grown out of hand. So, and guess what I'm doing? You know how in my Libra Witch video, I was totally like, hey, I came up with a rough sketch, and then I didn't color it or anything, and it ended in catastrophe. Do you remember that? I'm doing that again. But here's the catch. Here's the thing that's gonna make it okay and fine and not a mess. It will, I promise. I'm going to build the body of the thing, which I've done, and I'm going to decorate it sort of, and then I'm going to go and finish the design. And that's not impulsive. That's not a bad decision. That's normal and how artists work. And please don't criticize me, because I know I'm making another huge mistake that's probably going to result in my financial demise, but shh, it's fine. It's fine. Don't come to me for advice on how to plan or how to make good decisions. You're not gonna find it here. All you're gonna find here is chaos and inspiration. One of those is a good thing. The other one gets me in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyways, I'm just in a good creative mood today, which you can tell by the fact that my brain off. I'm just drawing right now. Which in some ways is good, because I like this sketch, and in some ways is bad because this is a little bit janky. But at least this one's cute. And I think I'm just going to be drawing probably rose thorn blades on this page, so maybe we'll litter in some other sketches somewhere between here, but I think I've been making decent time on this session, so that's good. Also, my family members are home, and they're making loud noises in the kitchen, which is making my anxiety spike, so we love that for me. I have a list of things I'm supposed to talk about. Oh yeah, you know what's cool? I graduated from college last Friday, so achievement unlocked, college graduate. They're just associate degrees, but I feel like everyone thinks that I'm really smart or something, because whenever people comment, they're like, oh, what's your degree in? And I'm like, oh, it's in engineering. And they're like, oh my god, you're so smart. And I'm just like, it's an undergraduate degree. It's an associate's degree. So I maybe exposed myself as a total dum-dum there, but not really, because here's the thing, I could go into something very brainy and prestigious. I'm a relatively smart person, and once more, I'm a very determined person. I'm annoying like that. If I decide I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, which is one reason why I find myself in the position of having these impulsive projects, you know what I mean? So if I wanted to go to school to do something big brain and smart, which I might someday. I'm just having fun drawing nonsense right now because I'm young and I can get away with it. But if I want to do that someday, I can. It's just at the moment, first of all, I don't want to go into student debt. And I got my school paid for on scholarship. So, well, partially on scholarship and partially from money from my my late grandma. So yeah, but one of those I got because I'm a woman in STEM, okay? So, yes, I am an associate degree graduate, but I don't have student debt. So, that's what we're here for. We are here for careers that are debt-free, that you don't have to, like, get a six-figure job to actually afford your degree, you know what I mean? Now I can just go get a normal regular person job with my degree and do my art things and not look at my bank account and cry. So, yeah, y'all out there who went to four-year schools and now have crushing student debt, I feel for you guys, because that's robbery and you don't deserve that, and that's ridiculous. School is ridiculously expensive right now, and by all means, we should do something about that. But yeah, I don't know where I was going on this tangent, but yeah, I'm having a bit of a quarter-life crisis right now, because also, yeah, I have a YouTube channel and whatever, and I have clients and like whatnot, but I also want to afford to live on my own, because the housing market is a freaking mess right now, and not only is there nothing available in my area, the stuff that is available is literally like, it's like, hey, would you like to live in a shack in my backyard? I promise I won't kill you. Also, this shack doesn't have water or electricity, and it is $800 a month. Like, I need, like, to be able to afford something better than that. basically, if I want to not live at home, which is where I'm living now, I'm going to have to move away, which is scary because then it's like you have way fewer resources. You don't have like as many friends or family around, and like just the jarring nature of, first of all, like working a sort of career job for the first time, because I've just been like a freelance person, freelance artist my entire life. The stress of that, and then also living alone, is going to be a lot. I'll be fine, I'll manage, but yeah, I don't know. That's basically the crux of my quarter life crisis right now, because trying to make wise financial decisions while also kind of being at the crossroads of career options is a little bit tricky, because I don't really want to end up in something that I hate my whole life, because the fulfillment that I get from my art is very important to me. That's kind of the reason why we do this thing. So I'm hoping to find a happy middle ground, you know, so that I can eat and put food on my table and not die, and afford housing and insurance, but then also get to create things, because that's sort of, you know, life passion and all that stuff. You know what I mean? You guys get me. But I feel like this is probably a very relatable conversation for a lot of you, because it's like, it's graduation time of year. I'm sure like a lot of you are in high school going into college, which is a huge step, and holy crap, I hope everything goes well for you. It's not as bad as it sounds, I promise. I know that I am lowly ye old community college graduate, but in my very limited vein of experience that is community college, mostly online because a pandemic happened in the middle of my college career, it's fine. It's really not that bad. And I was homeschooled. So whenever I went to college, it was like, oh, we're having a new experience today, you know? Because I went to public school whenever I was really little, but then I ended up being homeschooled for a long time, which I really liked because it gave me lots of time to develop my art skills and stuff like that. And I started freelancing whenever I was in high school. So I was able to also earn money doing something that I liked instead of working like food service or whatever. It was a really big blessing. But it did mean that emerging out of my cave, I guess I would call it, was a little bit jarring, and frankly still is, because I am a hermit, and you know, it's just what us YouTube folks do. We are hermit people, we are hermit crabs, and many of us don't know how to socialize. I am one of them. But yeah, so that is to say, it's not as bad as it sounds. I actually really liked college for the most part. And there's parts of it that I'm really going to miss. Like, I still have one more class that I'm going to take over the summer to earn like an extra certification, just because I can, and also because it sounds fun. I get to like dip my feet into actual like some design skills, so that'll be fun. But well, there it went. There's my train of thought. Hello? Comment below. Is my use of sticky notes on every sketchbook session a self-fulfilling prophecy? Quite possibly. Anyways, I don't know where we were. I guess I'll wrap that up by saying, yeah, like transitional life phase stuff sucks, and my heart goes out to anyone else who's also kind of in this phase of life, because it's like really weird. And like, art is not a linear career path for most of us, and it's weird to like find your way whenever you don't know what you're doing in life, whenever you're going into a normal field, and whenever you're going into something that it's like people discourage. Like, I've been encouraged in what I'm doing, but it's also like not really. Like, people think it's weird. A lot of my peers think it's weird. A lot of my peers are like, get a normal job. Wow, you're such a deadbeat. I don't know. It's like, that's what I feel like sometimes, at the very least, you know. My heart goes out to those of you who are also like kind of in a place where you want to go into something, do what you like, and you don't have a whole lot of support or whatever, or you're just trying to find out what you're doing in general. Like, hey, I support you in your choices, in your decisions, because I don't blame anyone who wants to go and do something they're passionate about. And, you know, if there's something that you feel like you can make an impact on the world, it's like you can do some good, you can inspire other people, like, I'm kind of like, hey, go for it. you know? To me, it's like, I said this the other day to my mom because I was complaining about something, but I was just like, money is not an effective motivator for me. It never has been, because it's like, money can't make you happy. And in a lot of ways, I would rather be fulfilled in doing something that I'm really passionate about, that I think I can, you know, spread some positivity with, than something that I don't have a lot of passion about that I think someone else would do better just because it would make me a little bit more financially secure. I don't know, you know, that's just me. I wouldn't necessarily take that as advice because I am just some person on the internet who doesn't have a lot of life experience, but I don't know, you know. I've said that like 3 times already, but yeah, I hope I didn't bring the mood down for any of you who are also like, dang it, I don't know what to do with my life. But the other piece of advice I'll have is that, you know, things have like a way of working themselves out. Whenever I was in college, I changed my major like 3 times. And I have 2 associate's degrees actually. The first one that I got, I did not have a good time in the program just because it wasn't great. And if that is an indication of what the workforce is like, and specifically in regards to how they treat women, that's not something that I really want to do. So it's something that I've really shied away from. But then I got into the more engineering side of things, and I love it, you know? It's not like my passion in life or anything, but it's something that I can do and that I genuinely enjoy doing. And also the people that I've met in the field are genuinely wonderful people. My professors were fantastic. So sometimes it'll take some like bouncing around to figure out something that's like, something that can work. Maybe it's not perfect, but it can work. You know, you'll find it, you'll get it, you know? If it's not right away, it's not the end of the world. And also something I feel like I'm just spouting off like nonsense advice. Maybe it'll like help someone out there. I don't know. But if you're that person who just seems like you're doing things like late or not on time, you feel like you should be ahead of where you are in life or whatever. I have felt that way a lot over the past couple of years because, you know, I have friends that are younger than me that graduated way earlier, and some of our circumstances were different, yes, but a lot of it was just because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I didn't have like a lot of motivation or drive to pour all this time studying into something that's like, man, I don't even know if this is really what I want to do with my life. And you know, there is no like set time where you've got to have things figured out. Like, I was talking to someone just the other day, and she was like, yeah, my husband and I are changing, we're going into real estate, and she's had several career changes in her life, and it's like, people don't tend to stay in the same career their entire lives anymore, is what I'm trying to say. It's okay to not have it all figured out, and very few people do. And we're also all just battling the terrible state of the world. And the economy is really not good. I mean, gasoline is, oh gosh, I know some of you out there are gonna be like, uh-oh, it's more expensive where I live, but gasoline here is like probably $4.50, $4.15 a gallon right now, which is a lot because I don't live close to anything. So you have to drive really far just to get to like the Walmart, you know? Like, I live out in the middle of nowhere, so gas is very expensive right now, and stuff is just expensive. So it's like, why are we expecting for young people to have it all together whenever no one has it together? And we literally just kind of are now getting out of a freaking pandemic. It baffles me sometimes, and it makes me kind of like upset and angry, especially when people who are older, who are expecting young people to like get their lives together really quickly and know what they're doing and like be just outstanding prodigies or whatever, when it's like, whenever they tell you about their life, that's not their experience at all. It's like, listen, I know you might be living vicariously through some young people or something. I'm not sure what the case is, but you know, it took a while to figure things out. I know that you just want the best for people, but at the same time, like, yo, I don't know if that's helpful, you know, to expect that of someone whenever you know the reality of the situation. You know, things don't get figured out that easily, right? I don't know, I feel like I'm just going on a rant at this point a little bit, but yeah, it's fine. I hope my rant helped someone out there to feel more confident in the position that they're in, because that's sort of how I feel right now, and I've just got to tell myself I will figure it out, and there is not really a clock on that. There's somewhat of a clock on that. I lose insurance whenever I turn 26, which isn't for a couple of years, thankfully. So there's that clock, but otherwise, you know. And for now, I guess that's one thing that is good about being in the weird situation that I am. I have a lot of skills that I can use to earn money, which is kind of good. Like, I have my art stuff, which I can sort of like do commissions, emergency commissions or something if I need money, and I have my YouTube skills. Like, I have a lot of avenues that I can use to survive if I need to, which is good. Like, I think it's good to not just be a one-trick pony and have a bunch of different skills under your belt, just in case. So, even though this does put me in a weird position, it's a strength in some ways. So, I've never regretted that, and I definitely see that there is like a lot of privilege with what I can do and what I've been able to do. So that's definitely not lost on me or anything, but it is definitely confusing. I feel like I'm really rambling at this point, but here is a rose. So, and I like this one better than that one, so I might go and change things a little bit on this one with sticky notes. I'm sorry I do this every time. Okay, there's that a little bit fixed up. The top of her body is still not really in proportion with her legs, which makes me pretty angry because Rose is supposed to be tall, but it's fine, we press on. And to finish these pages up, I think I'm just gonna do some like bust kind of headshot sketches. I don't know who of quite yet. I think I might just, you know, for funsies, throw a Quintessa in here real quick just to change it up and make it so that I'm not drawing all rows on this page, even though that is what I would like to do. So I don't know where I was before I decided to take a break and try to fix the sketch. I also went downstairs and worked on my costume that I was talking about a little bit. So I got a little bit preoccupied because I was like, I'm making like little foam pieces with some silicone molds. So I was like, oh, I'll just refill these real quick because they need time to go and like dry. So I was like, oh, I'll go do that. And now I've completely lost where I was in my train of thought. But I've been like kind of trying to work on my art style again lately, just because like I feel like it's been in a weird place where I don't like it. And I think it gets that way every few months. And then I'm just like, yep, it's time to change my art style again. I don't know, is that how most people are? I feel like a lot of people, your art style just goes through these weird changes whenever you're just like in a mood and you just need your art to look different. Or you find someone who inspires you and then you're like, that's it, I'm drawing like them from now on. I do that constantly. Like literally anyone, anytime anyone I like posts like a YouTube video or they update their Instagram, I'm just like, well, I'm gonna go into an art style crisis for the next few months because this is just so beautiful and I have to find a way to incorporate it into what I'm doing. So recently the offender has honestly just been Cosmic Spectrum art. I really like their stuff. Really pretty, and I really like the way they draw feminine faces, and I've been kind of like sour on the way I draw faces a little bit lately, which is why I've been trying to draw so many. I've been kind of trying to work on my style a little bit because I've been getting into more, you know, like fantasy inspired art, and I've been wanting to kind of develop a softer way of drawing in some ways, just because I feel like, I don't know, so many of the angles of my art are so harsh, which I like, but I'm trying to add some softness too, for the sake of like my feminine characters looking soft, because like, for example, Rose is very much like princess and like soft fairy tale kind of vibes, but like the idea behind her character is that she's both. She's like both the prince and the princess, or like the knight and the princess just in one character. That's sort of like how I came up with her. I'm just like, what if there was just a really pretty princess who is also a knight? And she's like not a princess in the story or anything, but that's sort of where I was going for. So I'm like, that kind of sums up the style I want. I want something that's like, yes, there is an edge here, because I must draw swords, I must, but then I also want that like softness, and I feel like I'm getting it a little bit more here. And I was doing some sketches while I was on vacation. I think I posted them on Instagram, where I did some sketches of Rose, and it doesn't really look like my art style, but the faces just looked really soft. Of course, I was sketching with pencil at the time, which I think I generally have like softer, looser work whenever I sketch with pencil. Whenever I sketch with pen, it's a little bit more like rough lines, angles, just because that's sort of the way I build up a form whenever I'm using a pen. But I just really liked some of the results I was getting with pencil a while ago too. So I don't know, I'm kind of trying to mess with the facial proportions of my characters a little bit more and give them more of like a larger, like make the top of their cranium larger and bring a little bit more cuteness, because for a while, like, I had that thing where my characters just didn't have a forehead for some reason, and I started to notice, and it started to look really weird, especially with Contessa, just because the way her hairstyle is. It just didn't seem like she had a forehead the way I would draw her, and it looked really strange, and it made her look very masculine, which she is like sort of that kind of like tomboyish character. She's a plucky teen, what can I say, but she's still like a child in a lot of the sketches that I draw of her, so it's like, I feel like it kind of makes her look too old whenever I don't give her any manner of forehead. So I'm kind of trying to incorporate that back in and just mess around with it a little bit more in general. I don't even know what the sketch is right now. As you can see, I don't know, like this one's just kind of eh. A lot of the stuff I've been coming up with today is just a bit eh. Mostly because, like, I've talked about it before, whenever I'm doing a sketchbook session, especially whenever I'm like between styles and I'm kind of struggling to like be comfortable in my style because I'm trying to analyze it and break it down and kind of refine it a little bit, I really struggle to like come up with art that I like that doesn't take forever, because it's like time restraints. I don't like them. So if I've been putting out fewer sketchbook sessions, that's why, because it's like I'm just like I struggle to come up with good stuff whenever I have to draw live like this, because I don't want it to take literally forever. And I feel like whenever I draw live like this, I come up with a face like this that I'm just not very happy with, and then I feel the need to cover it up with a sticky note. Am I gonna do that right now? Yes, probably. I guess this is just gonna be like, okay, a style study. I made a thing, and now I'm going to see what I don't particularly love about the thing that I made. But I don't know, I guess that kind of leads me to a proposition for you all. I know like the biggest draw of these sessions is like, oh, it's spontaneous and you feel like a friend is like drawing with you. And the thing for me is like, I just don't like putting out work of mine that I'm not proud of. I don't like putting things out where it's like, I know I could have done better. I know that, you know, I'm not at my best here because of X reason. So even though it does change up the format of videos like this, would you guys be okay if I did like pre-recorded art, just like film myself drawing in my sketchbook, didn't speed it up or time-lapse it or anything, but then just did like voiceover after the fact and had sort of like a more chatty experience, because that seems to be what a lot of you like, but something where I can actually kind of just like focus on what I'm drawing, what I'm doing, because otherwise I just end up making things that I don't really love, and then I end up with pages in my sketchbooks where I'm like, I either have to burn this or go back later and fix it. Because like I have so many pages in my sketchbooks right now where I'm like, yeah, that was a session, I didn't love the output of that, I have to go back and fix it or whatever, you know what I mean. It's just not my forte. Like, I don't know about other people, but art takes a lot of energy from me, like mental energy. I have to like focus my brain on what I'm doing. Like I can have background noise, but if I'm talking, that's just too much, you know what I mean? So I feel like I would be more inclined to do like painting sessions or sketchbook sessions if I could just do that, because then I could just, if I feel like painting one day, I could just paint and record it, and then I could like dub over some voiceover later, and then I can be like, oh, I can just paint, and it's also work because I haven't been able to paint or like just draw in my sketchbook as much as I would like to lately. So I don't know. If I've done a couple of things like that in the past and people have been like, oh, we missed your old format, and it's like, I'm genuinely not trying to take away from anyone else's experience. I just feel like the experience that I have been putting out is not my best work. And especially with the channel recently, I've been trying to kind of put out higher quality content and up my game in terms of my videos, just for a lot of reasons. Like, if I'm not constantly improving, it's just not very creatively fulfilling for me. So I feel like I need to workshop this series a little bit and figure out, okay, what is a format that is enjoyable for me, that is also enjoyable for all of you? Because it's like, I kind of do these for you guys because they're just kind of stressful for me to record. It's like, obviously not the drawing part that's stressful, and not the talking part. I don't have a difficult time just talking. Like, recording voiceover for my videos is actually one of my favorite parts of the process. It actually used to make me really nervous, but then I don't know what happened. I think I just started having a different attitude about it, and I started being like, okay, I'm just going to have like more fun with this. And it started being a lot more enjoyable for me. So I can do that on its own and it's fine. And I can draw on its own and it's fine. It's just combining the two where I'm like, this makes me anxious. And then I end up trying to like speed through it so the session isn't too long, and then it results in art that I'm not super proud of. Anyways, if anyone is still listening right now, which I feel like whenever I ask people if they're still listening, I get a lot of comments. They're like, still listening at this point. I appreciate you guys because it lets me know that like people actually watch these. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, if you're still listening right now, if you want to chime in and tell me, would that be okay to do? Would you still enjoy that? Would you still want to watch it? Because I get it, like the spontaneous aspect of a sketchbook session is important to a lot of you. And the fact that it's like relaxing and it feels like, oh, you're drawing with someone. Like the draw with me video is very much a thing. So just throwing that out there. We can do that. Or I can actually work on this and try to get better at just like talking on camera while drawing. and talking on camera in general. I don't know about like other YouTubers out there, or I guess this might be an interesting thing to share just for the sake of people. But I've been doing this for like how long now? Has it been? It's been maybe 2 years? 2 years? Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I still get really nervous whenever I record on camera, and I misspeak all the time. I feel like it used to be better, but now that I'm trying to be more efficient and I have more like deadlines to hit and stuff like that, it's definitely like hitting a little bit harder, and like just the general anxiety of it definitely gets to me sometimes. So it's something that I'm trying to work on overall, and just like work on having more fun with stuff, because whenever I have fun in a video, I feel like you can really tell. I feel like those are the videos that you guys latch on to the most. It's like whenever I'm just being indulgent and I'm having a good time, instead of stressing myself out because I'm like, oh, this has to be perfect, and I have a sponsor in this video and I have to meet deadlines or whatever. You know, just that boring job side of it nonsense that no one likes because it's stressful. But I am trying to get better at it, but it is a process. But if anyone's wondering, oh hey, do people get nervous when they do this? The answer is likely yes. It is certainly yes for me. But yeah, here's a Quintessa. I actually like this face so much better than the one that I just drew. I don't know, there's something about drawing on a sticky note. Like, I really like the consistency of sticky notes. I have no idea why. They just, I don't know, they feel good. Okay, let's move on. Okay, we did a pretty Quintessa. I think now we're just gonna do a pretty rose. And I feel like the composition of this page is kind of a mess, just because I drew like 2 figures that are roughly the same size, so it's kind of bothering me. Like, I normally try to have some sense of like big, medium, and small, and like balance to my spreads whenever I do them. So my solution to that is just to draw a rose face that's really big. And I have no idea if this is going to look good in the composition, but it might help if I just have a really big face over here. And then it'll also give me an opportunity to do some more detailed work with faces. So yeah, I feel like there is another artist that I've been really inspired by in terms of like faces and stuff recently, and I just can't remember who they are. It's mildly frustrating because I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Man, I don't know, maybe it's just like animation in general. I mean, Arcane, of course. Gosh, like the absolute collapse that my brain had whenever Arcane came out and I saw the art style of that show was like monumental. It's still happening. I'm still drawing so much Arcane art. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I've been posting some Arcane fan art over there. And this is your sign from the universe to go follow me on Instagram if you don't already. Because over the last like year or so, I don't know how long I've had Instagram. It's been more than a year for sure. Probably like 2 years or something like that. I'm not sure. I haven't taken it very seriously. It's been kind of the place that I just post whatever. I post just art on my feed. Like, you're never gonna get something that's not just art unless it's like a special occasion, or unless it's like cosplay related, but it's always gonna be art. I'm not gonna post something strange on my feed, but in my stories I'll just post like some random nonsense once in a while. You will get that, but if that's not something you're interested in, just don't click on my stories. There's more personal stuff. There's like looks. I'll post like selfies and crap whenever I'm like, I need some validation from strangers. You know what I mean? You guys get me. Yeah. So if you don't follow me, just go follow me, because I post art from Arcane there, which means that there's art of hot girls, and we all love that. I don't care who you are or what you identify as. I think we all appreciate a good hot girl. You know what I'm saying. Anyways, these will be posted there. I'm getting into a tangent. What I'm trying to say is I'm trying to take it a little bit more seriously lately. Not much. I don't take a lot in life seriously, but I am trying to like grow my following a little bit more over there, just because I feel like people don't take you seriously as an artist unless you have a big Instagram following. And yes, that is vain and stupid, but that is also how the world works. And honey, we're just living in it. I'm sorry, I'm in a weird mood today. I have that like the jitters, like the good jitters that you get whenever you're like kind of on a high with a project and you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to work on that project. So that's the costume that I'm working on right now. But yeah. I don't even know what I was saying before. I just shamelessly plugged my Instagram, but yeah, art style things. I'm just basically trying to be like, okay, how can I turn my art style into the art style from Arcane, but still make it look like mine? And yeah, that's it. That's it. I just want to draw like the characters look like in Arcane because it's so pretty. And holy crap, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. That's all I have for you. Yeah. But so I guess those are kind of my influences recently. It's just been like Arcane, Cosmic Spectrum art, and Dead Royals. You know what I mean? That's where my head is at. And oh boy, do none of those things go together. And yet they do perfectly. I feel like this is a niche that I'm starting. Because you know what's weird? The amount of my followers and people who watch my videos who are like into the exact same stuff that I'm into. I don't know how you guys find me. Is the algorithm just that good? Do I have like a billion like soulmate friends out there that I've never met that the internet is just bringing to me because it's fate that we will be in each other's lives? Is that weird to say? Probably. I don't care. I don't care. I appreciate all of my weird internet siblings. Siblings? I don't know. I feel like I'm more like your weird aunt than anything else. Comment below. What family member role do I have in your life? Parasocially. You know, like in every sketchbook session, those of you who are regulars, who come here often, TM, you know there's that point in every session where I just start getting weird and I start saying nonsense because I'm trying to fill airtime and I don't know what else to say. We have reached that point. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here with me today. Her head looks like it's going in. I don't know why I drew it like that. What does her head look like? It's strange. Okay. Ooh, I also want to talk about, okay, this is something that I haven't even touched on. Wow, okay. So I'm trying to make my brain wrinklier lately. And by that, I mean, I'm trying to expand my knowledge. I just want to be like a smarter person. I want to gain more knowledge, right? Which is very challenging for me because I have the short-term memory of a small rodent. Things do not go into my brain. Like, I'm starting to get into history more. I like history. I think it's really cool, especially anything that has to do with royals and royalty. They were all insane, especially European royalty was absolutely, like, it was ridiculous. You can't make this stuff up. That's why I like the dramas that are loosely based on the lives of European royals, because it's like, you cannot make it up. It was just pure insanity. But it's very unfortunate because I'll learn it and it won't go into my brain. Like, I've been watching history, like, YouTubers lately, and it's also interesting, but I'll only retain bits and pieces. And it's frustrating because I'll have, like, remnants of a fact in my brain, and I'll be thinking about something, and I'm like, oh yeah, wasn't that person, like, married to this person at that point, and then they died of the plague or something? I don't know. I can't recall things. Who can relate? I feel like my memory, I feel like I'm not dumb. I feel dumb. I'm not dumb. My memory is just that bad, where it's like I have to learn something over and over and over again for my brain to actually retain it. Like grasping concepts, I'm normally pretty fine. You know, I'm good. I'm fine. I can do it. It just doesn't. A lot of things, they don't go into my brain. I'm terrible at world geography. Honestly, I'm terrible at United States geography. It's one of those things that doesn't go into my brain. It just doesn't. I'm a very like visual and tactile learner, so anything that's like just facts, they don't stay. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, as an emerging student of history, I'm having a hard time. It's kind of not working. And it doesn't help that several of my friends, and also like my brother, they're getting into history too, and they're so much better at recollecting items and facts than I am, because my memory is terrible. I think it's because my memory and my mind is geared towards like tasks and doing things. There's no room for just facts. All of that space is resolved for, this is how you draw an ear at a 38-degree angle. Like, that is the only thing that is up there. It's this very niche information. That and episodes of Seinfeld, for some reason that stays in my brain. That's the only thing. Like those few things, Procedure for Art and Seinfeld, that's it. That's all that's up there. And is there something I can do? Who can help me? Who can save me from myself? I don't know. I'm being very dramatic, but it is very frustrating because I want to remember the names of all of Henry VIII's wives. I know that at least 3 of them were named Catherine, and beyond that, I have nothing for you. Like, I don't know. Anyways, here is a rose. Wow, you didn't even see that. Oh, excellent camera work, Kira. Look, I drew ribbon things here. Look, aren't they blousy? Excellent. Okay, hold on. Did this marginally improve the spread of this sketchbook? Like maybe a little bit. I feel a little bit inclined to like fill white space because I have compulsions like that. So hold on, let me see what I can do. And here is the finished spread, finally. I know I went and changed a couple of things kind of off camera, but it's fine because it actually made me way happier with the spread. I actually really like how it came out. Well, for all its twists and turns, I hope you guys enjoyed the session. Thank you guys so much for watching till the end. If you want to support me and you want to stick around, you can like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications. But that is all for this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon for some indulgent design and costuming content. Bye!